we are going to be talking about essential oil safety. It's a big pet peeve of mine. I love talking about this subject. And my name is Lori Faulkner. I'm part of Women's Health on the Go, where I educate and consult women about taking care of their bodies, whether it's conventional, holistic, or naturally. I work with women to find out what they feel is best for them and their bodies. If you are new here, welcome. If you've been here many times, welcome as well. Please say hello. Let me know how you're doing. I love engagement. If you have any questions throughout the whole show, please do not hesitate to put your questions in the comments below. I might not get to them right away, but I promise you that I will get to them. And even if you're watching the show after it's been live, please still put your comments, put them down. I will definitely get to those questions for you. And if you would like to get show reminders of, it's a little iMessage I send out when we're going to be live, please type in the comment section reminder. You get a little thing saying, yes, thank you. You just have to type in reminder again, and you will be put onto, onto our reminder list. And every week when we go live, we'll shoot you a little text saying we're live, and it'll also have the topic of the show. So we'll make sure that you do that if you want to. So, what are we going to be talking about tonight? We're going to be talking about essential oil safety. This is something that I am very, very, very passionate about. I believe that there's so much information out there, and a lot of it can be misleading. And there's a lot of people out there that are selling essential oils. I believe that some people sell essential oils just like they used to sell, like they could sell Avon or Tupperware. They are multi-level marketing companies out there that people are selling essential oils, and they're not necessarily educated on essential oil use. Some of them are certified aromatherapists, and I think that is great. I think when you're looking at information, please do your own research. Please do your own research. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. But before we get really started, as you know, I have to put out my medical disclaimer. All material provided in this video is provided for information and educational purposes only and is not intended to replace the advice of your healthcare professional. It is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any kind of disease. Statements in this video have not been evaluated by the FDA, and we are not making any medical claims. Also, the International Federation of Aromatherapists does not recommend the internal use of essential oils unless it's under the guidance of a medical professional that is certified aromatherapist. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, please consult your healthcare provider before using essential oils. And again, hello, we love Hillsborough. How are you this evening? I'm glad to see that you're here. Tonight, everyone, again, we're going to be talking about essential oil safety. I'm very, very passionate about this, and I'm very excited. If you have any questions, make sure that you just put them in the comment section, even if it's after the live show, and I promise you that I will get to them. So, essential oil safety. The one thing that I want to say to you is, when it comes to essential oils, please respect and honor them. There's been research done on them. There is research showing that they have medical benefits, just like pharmaceutical drugs. So if you're going to respect pharmaceutical drugs, please make sure that you respect essential oils as well. They can interact with medications you're taking. They can interact with maybe a medical condition you have. Sometimes they are not safe during pregnancy or breastfeeding. And as much as I am not an expert on essential oils with children and infants, can you use some essential oils in children? Yes, but make sure that you absolutely make sure that they are safe for children. And also make sure that that dilution is very, very low. Remember, they're just little people. They're not as big as us. Their skin and body and everything is still growing. So make sure that you are very, very careful with that. Okay? So first I'm just going to talk about some general stuff. And one thing, and I kind of commented it just a little bit ago, is that when it comes to essential oil safety, I think that you got to be careful of who you are listening to, especially on the internet. There are a lot of people out there that may just say, hey, just use this and do this. And I don't think that they're really qualified to be doing that, especially sometimes when I'm going, oh, no, don't do that. Don't tell people to do that. That's not safe to do, okay? So please make sure that if you're going to use essential oils, and do your own research. There's lots of research on essential oils. Make sure that you're getting your information from a reliable source. And unfortunately, sometimes I will tell you that I've taken I took a certification exam, and then I also just took this extra course that was apparently done by, I'm not going to say the name or anything like that, but it was a doctor. And during the course, and as I've taken the course, I'm going, why would you tell people to do that? Why would you do that? There's no research. I mean, it wasn't, you just have to really be careful. That's what I'm just going to say. Essential oils are something that is very new out there. Well, it's not new, but they're becoming more a part of mainstream usage. And we really want to look at why we're using these essential oils, and how are we using them? I don't think that they're just respect and honor them, okay? But also make sure that you're getting information from credible resources. Also, a little bit about the quality of essential oils. Now, there are some companies that will say they're therapeutic grade, they're the purest out there. Therapeutic grade, there's no such thing as therapeutic grade. It is what the company has patented that word, and there's no regulatory body that's making sure that their essential oil is therapeutic grade. I think the one thing, not that this is the end-all be-all of safety, but looking, and I've spoken about these in my other essential oil shows, is about making sure that there is GSMS testing, gas spectrometry and mass spectrometry testing done. I know I mutilate those names every time. But anyway, that if you go to a website, okay, and you look to see, like, I'm going to buy these essential oils. Well, one thing you definitely want to do is see if they have those testings. There are some essential oil companies that do not share it and claim that that is private information. That is not private information. These tests are, so, for example, in this essential oil safety book, in all the oils that are in here, it will tell you, it'll do the chemical breakdown of each essential oil and what percentage of each chemical component should kind of be in there. And that's why one of the things that it just helps us to let us know if this essential oil is a good quality one is, like, you may have, I know I've spoken about, like, linalool, cineol. I mean, there's different chemical components, and it'll tell you the range. Like, you should have 85% of a linalool in here, and this percentage, and it'll kind of break it down for you. So essential oils are essential oils. There's no big, I mean, there may be slight differences when it comes to the different, when I talked about the different botanical names, the different kind of strains, we'll call them. There may be a slight variance in that, but there's no proprietary blend of lavender augustifolia. So any company that says that they don't provide those because that's private is BS. So look for a company that provides that. I've used two different ones. I've used Eden's Garden for quite some time, and then I found another one recently. I'm going to put the link to their hold on if I can get the link. Let's see if I can get the link. I'm going to put a little bit of a comment here. This is a plant therapy. I really like them. Let's see if that got up there. That's a link to their website. I did become now Eden's Garden. I still use Eden's Garden. I do think that they're really good. I did become Plant Therapy is another one. They both provide GS-MS testing. The one thing that I like a little bit more about Plant Therapy is the fact that Robert Tisserand, who I talk about him all the time, and I really, really, really like him because he's been doing research on essential oils for so long, and he's very, very knowledgeable. He works with them, with Plant Therapy. And I did become an affiliate to kind of help support this show. So if you do want to use them, please use that link just to help out the show. But I've been using them. I really like them. And they both, again, provide those testings, and you want to look for that. I think that's really, really important. Okay. Another thing is doing your own research. Now, I kind of already said this. One thing that you could definitely do to help if you're going to use essential oils is get this essential oil safety book. I'm going to put a link to that as well below. Now, if you don't want to, that's fine. And if you are not sure of something, if you have a quick, simple question, please comment below and ask me or private message on our Women's Health on the Go Facebook page. I'll be more than happy to help you. Of course, if it's a really long, I'll say a long-winded, if you got a lot of stuff going on, I would ask that you book a consultation with me. But here, this is a link to this book. It is a little bit of expense. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if that. Okay, that is Amazon. So that second link is to the link of this book. It is a bit expensive. It's like $80 some odd. It is a scholarly textbook. So if you don't want to do that, then by all means, comment below, hey, I take this medication, can I use this essential oil? Or you can private message, and I'd be more than happy because to me, using these essential oils properly is so much more important. And I just want to make sure that everybody uses them properly and safely. So hopefully, am I making sense so far? I know this was kind of little information. I just wanted to do a little introduction about essential oil safety. But what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about oral use, we're going to talk about dermal use, we're going to talk about steam inhalation and diffusion, and a little bit of safety tips in regard to those things. Of course, this is basic. Remember, I only have 30 minutes, and this is all basic information. I could probably go a lot further into it, but I just wanted to do a little show on this because I think it's really important, okay? Okay. Oral use of essential oils. Now, there are a lot of people out there that will tell you, oh, just do a drop or two of essential oils in your water every day and, just drink it down and everything. What I say is no, no, and no. Let's think about essential oils and water. Oil and water do not mix. That is a known fact. At least I hope we all know that, okay? Oil and water do not mix, okay? And when you put a couple of drops in your water and then you drink it down, okay, that drop, it doesn't get dispersed into, like if you're going to we're going to talk a little bit about carrier oils, which is anything like olive oil, vegetable oil, coconut oil. If you put essential oil in there and you kind of mix it all up, it disperses the essential oil throughout that whole tablespoon of essential oil, where the water is just one little drop, okay? And one of the main things, if you're going to have a adverse effect, and if you do it orally, the biggest thing it's going to be is irritation, like stomach irritation. If you think about it, if you read anything about essential oils, it'll say to keep essential oils away from any mucosal membrane, which is inside your mouth, inside your nose, inside your vagina. And that just goes also all the way down here as well, okay? You don't want to apply them directly to those areas because they can be irritating, okay? So one, you don't want to do it because it's not going to be evenly dispersed, okay? It makes it harder for the body to distribute it more correctly and a little bit in a nicer way, okay? And then also those a little droplet of essential oil, like I said, are just floating around in your stomach, which can lead to irritation, and it's be very sensitive to that mucosal membrane inside your body. So you don't want stomach irritation. So on that note, can essential oils be taken orally? Yes, they can, but I would only recommend doing that under the supervision of a medical provider that is certified in aromatherapy. Most essential oils that are used internally are only used for an acute situation, right? We'll take me last week, okay? As you know, I had a little bit of cold. Got a little bit of lemon still going on here, but I did a lot of things to help with my cold, but one thing I did was I took oil oregano, but I put it in a tablespoon of olive oil and I mixed it up really, really, really well, and I only took it for a very short time frame. I'm not taking it every day to prevent. I'm not going to take it long term. Most essential oils, these are not vitamins, right? They're not vitamins. They're very concentrated, whatever, like if it's lavender, it's peppermint, it's lemon, it's very concentrated of that oil, of that item, that herb, okay? And they're not meant to be supplements. They're not meant to be taken every day. They're more in acute situations and for medical issues. Again, I do not recommend the oral use of essential oils, especially in water. But if you are having a medical condition and you're under the supervision of a medical provider who is certified in aromatherapy and they're providing it to you, that's one thing. But I would not recommend the use of oral essential oils. There's so many things out there that are a lot more gentler on our body and are just as healthy, okay? Like tea, okay? You can take, instead of lavender essential oil and peppermint essential oil, you can take the actual herb of peppermint and lavender and make a tea out of it. And you're going to get the medicinal properties from it. And it's going to be a lot more mild on your system. It's going to be a lot more milder on your stomach. And you're going to make it a little kind of different. Sometimes when we think about research, sometimes research is done on actual essential oils, and sometimes the research is done actually on the herb. So, we might not know. Sometimes we think, well, if it does it this way, it's going to do it for this as well. But you're going to get the benefits of it, and it's going to be a lot more mild on your system. So please, and even organizations such as NAHA, which is the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapy, the International Federation of Aromatherapists, they don't recommend oral use. So it drives me nuts when all these people out there say, oh, just put a couple of drops in your water and you'll be right as rain, do this to lose weight. No, there's so many other things that we can do that can be better for us and healthier for us and safer. So please do not do that, okay? That's my thought process on using it orally. Okay, let's go to, hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions in regards to oral use, please do not hesitate to comment. Or if you just have an experience or whatever, please do not hesitate to comment below. Okay, skin, okay? Skin, a lot of people tend to use essential oils on their skin, okay? Now, okay, I'm going to say one more thing about oral. So typically if people are if they are having a medical provider and they are using it orally, they're using it for some kind of acute medical condition. Now, when we're using it on skin, majority of the time it's going to be something like you have a skin condition or like menstrual cramps, or you have some kind of muscle pain or joint ache. Those are the typical reasons why we're going to use topical use of it, okay? And it's important to understand that it comes with essential oils, again, I particularly, when I suggest people to use essential oils, I don't recommend putting them on your skin, what we call neat. Neat means you actually take the essential oil right from the bottle and you put it right on your skin, okay? as compared to if you take an essential oil and you put it in what we call a carrier oil, which again, a carrier oil is like olive oil, coconut oil, almond oil, hemp seed oil, sesame oil. Any kind of like those kind of oils are considered carrier oils. And you can literally take an ounce of a carrier and put 1 drop of an essential oil and you can get benefits from it. Okay, you can absolutely, I'm going to tell you a little bit of story about how that, my experience with that. Okay, so, but let's talk a little bit about when you put it on the skin, how much is actually getting absorbed into your body. Because there's like this, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get into a fight with someone. So there's a lot of people that say, if you put the essential oils on the bottom of your feet, it's going to get right into the bloodstream and it's going to go right to your heart and help your heart or help your lungs. Okay, so let's think about this, people. All right, first off, the skin on the bottom of your feet, as we know because we walk on it and it's a lot rougher, is thicker than other skin areas on your body. Okay, can essential oils get in through the skin in your feet? It can, but it's not the most beneficial because there's going to be less of the essential oil it's going to get because it's got to go through, it's thicker. Remember, it's thicker, and it's not necessarily going to get where it's got to go. Now, I would say, like, if you're having a chest respiratory cold, right? Why don't you just get some carrier oil and put it right here where it's got to go, right? Or if you're having menstrual cramps, put it like on a carrier oil and put it right over your belly. That's, to me, the most beneficial. Can you put essential oils on the bottom of your feet? You can, but I'm not really quite sure how much of it is actually getting into your system and being beneficial, considering that the skin on your feet is thicker. So this is my personal, I've read research, I've also, from just thinking of anatomy and physiology inside my head and the layers of the skin and the feet, it's thicker. Now, when you put essential oil on your skin directly, immediately, yes, the essential oil is 100% there, but it evaporates pretty quickly. So with some research that I read, and I also from my friend Robert Tisserand, you're only going to get about 5% of that essential oil is going to get absorbed through the skin. Okay, and dilution is really important because. So, all right. So in this book, I'll keep referring to my beautiful book, okay? In this book, when you look at different essential oils, they are going to tell you the maximum dermal dilution rate, okay? And that's based off of, there's a lot of, it's based on like dermatology and more about cosmetics and the percentage of essential oil that they know. If it's at that dilution rate, the chances of any kind of skin irritation or skin reaction is going to be very, very minimal. Okay. Now, some essential oils, you don't need more than 1 to 5% of an essential oil within like if I said, again, you can do it an ounce of a carrier oil, and then you're only going to need like 1 to 5% of that 1 ounce can be an essential oil, and it's going to be very beneficial. It doesn't have to be a very high, okay? And one is because you definitely want to avoid skin reactions of irritation or sensitization. Like if you keep putting it over the area, eventually, your skin's going to be sensitive to it, and it's not going to like it at all. And then you also, during the pre-show, if you watch the pre-show, I talked about phototoxicity, which is when you put something like a lemon essential oil on your skin, and then within the next 12 hours, you go out in the sun, and now you have a nice sunburn exactly where you had that essential oil. I learned the hard way. Prior to this was years ago, but I put what I didn't realize, an essential oil blend right here, and I was down at the beach, and when I got home, after a day on the beach, went to take a shower, put my essential oil on, went out, got up in the morning, went down to the beach, and burned right here. So you want to be very, very careful of that. It's lots of stuff tonight, okay? And then, and then you can also have, can have systemic toxicity, right? And that depends on if, let's suppose you're pregnant. Like, this is again where you have to be careful. Some essential oils are not safe in pregnancy because they can be toxic to the fetus, or they can be toxic to the liver, depending on your medical condition, or they could be neurotoxic. So there's things that actually can happen if you put like too much on your skin, right? And that's why you want to make sure that you are, one, putting it within a carrier oil, and you're not putting it directly onto your skin, and you want to make sure the dilution rate is low. Sometimes I see websites who have recipes with essential oils, I'm like, oh my God, how many drops is that? That is like incredibly way too much. And I can even tell you that the least amount is going to be beneficial for you. So I can tell you that when I was doing my certification course, I had to do case studies. I had to have some people, whoever had a certain medical condition or whatever that was going on, and I had to create a blend for them and have them use it and then report back to me and, go back and forth. Well, I had someone who had muscle pain after exercising, and I used the least amount of dilution. I mean, I used like a couple of drops this, a couple of drops that. I didn't use a lot of drops at all, and the benefits were amazing. It actually, to be honest with you, when I did that, I was like, oh my God, it worked. This is amazing. This stuff is amazing. Essential oils are amazing. They really, really do work when used appropriately and safely. But you don't need to have a very high concentration of the essential oil in any kind of blend for it to get the medicinal benefits from it. So you can do a very minimal amount. You don't need a lot. You really, really don't. And I always say, you know what? Even if I'm talking to a patient and they want to be treated conventionally, and I need to give them a prescription for something, I always start at the lowest dose, no matter what. I always say, well, okay, let's start at the lowest dose, because the less you need, the better, right? And then if you're having anything, then we have at least a little room. We can, keep going up with it. But if you go too much, especially with essential oils, you can end up having a skin reaction. And then that person's going to be like, oh my God, essential oils are awful. I'm not going to use this at all. You got to make sure that you're using proper dilution. I will give you an example where lavender augustifolia, actually, according to the Essential Oil Safety Book, you only need a 0.1% maximum dermal use. So that's basically, it's very, very minimal, like a 0.5% dilution in 1 ounce is about 3 drops. So, it's probably not even a drop, but that would be just like 1 drop of lavender in that 1 ounce is all that's needed to have the medicinal properties. Where peppermint essential oil is about 5.4%, which is a little bit more. That's about 30 drops, But again, I was saying, we only really need about 1 to 5% of dilution in our blends in order for them to be beneficial. And one thing that I do want to say, because I've had actually patients come in to me and say that they've had their raindrop therapy, which apparently is they're applying essential oils neat to the skin, and where people, they have a skin reaction, right? Because it's been put on neat and the skin either got red or irritated. And then they were told that that's a detoxing effect. No, that's all I'm going to say. No, you're having a reaction because you have an essential oil that's been put neat onto your skin. Even, I know NAHA and there's another organization that actually does not promote the use of raindrop therapy at all. So, yeah, that's the only one comment I'm going to say about that. Okay. Phototoxicity, now I mentioned that a little bit before, just to give you some, tell you some of those essential oils. They would be like bergamot, they would be lemon, they would be cold pressed lime, they'd be grapefruit, bitter orange, mandarin leaf. Those are some of the ones, the essential oils that are phototoxic. Okay, so you want to make sure that if you during the summertime, as much as some people when they're trying to, have a wonderful kind of feeling, like lemon and lime are very uplifting, very energizing, essential oils, very energizing. And if you use them and you use them on your skin and then you go out into the sun, I guarantee you are going to get sunburned in that spot wherever it is. And depending on the length that you've been out in the sun and how long, you can get it's going to have a really bad reaction. So make sure that especially if you're going to use those, especially if you're going to be in the warm, don't use it that way. Or if you're going to use it, make sure it's in an area that is not going to be exposed to the sun. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this is the Tisserand Institute. This is actually an article that is really, really awesome. It tells you if you do have a skin reaction, what to do when you have it. Okay, so if you want to bookmark that somewhere, it's got really great information on there. There was one thing that I actually I thought was really interesting. I've always was taught that if you get essential oil in your eye, not to use water because of the concept that oil and water do not mix. To use as carrier oil such as olive oil or vegetable oil in your eye. Where Robert Tisserand actually says that as much as oil and water do not mix, if you flush the eye out very rapidly, for the first 10 minutes or something like that, the chances of that essential oil coming out of your eye would be a little bit more greater. So that's something that's different for me, at least, because I was always taught, even in my certification, that it's best to use some kind of carrier oil. So I thought that was interesting. But that is a great link to have. The Tisserand Institute is amazing and it's wonderful. And if it's not a bad idea to just have a little bit of that, bookmark it. So if you ever have it, just do a little read and then you have it there. Okay? I hope everything is making sense. I hope everyone's enjoying this so far. We're going to just keep rolling. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to comment. All right. As I keep saying, water and essential oils don't mix. One thing that I do want to say is if you're going to take a bath, sometimes people like to put essential oils in their bathtub because they smell nice and you're trying to relax and you want to put some lavender. Now, one way is to actually get the actual herbs and you can actually put the herbs into like a muslin or something like that and either have it go under the running water or just put it in, or you could just put them loose, but then you're kind of hanging out with herbs. But if you are going to use essential oils, please do not just drop them into the water because then they're just floating around. Especially if the water is hot and then you sit on that and touch, it's not going to feel very good. Make sure that you use something like, if you take like Castile soap, right? If you take Castile soap and you put the essential oil in there and then you get it all, like you mix it all in there and then you put it in the water and it makes a little bubblies, it's going to nicely disperse the essential oil into the water with you. Okay, that's one thing that you can do. You can also like put in like coconut oil, like fractionated, like some kind of, again, some kind of carrier oil and mix it really up and then you could like get it and it's going to disperse it throughout your bathtub water a lot better. So just make sure that you're not using, they say not using milk, not using aloe vera gel, not using witch hazel or cornstarch or anything like that. You want to make sure that you use something like Castile soap or I can't even think of the word already. I just love it. Or like some kind of like fractionated coconut oil, okay? So don't just put your essential oils right into your bath, okay? All right, hopefully that makes sense. All right, we're almost getting to the end here, everyone, so hang with me. Cut 2 more little things, and then we will be done. All right, so steam inhalation. Now, this is great. This is usually great for when you have upper respiratory or congestion like I did last week. I took a bowl and I got some boiling water. I put some boiling water and I put a couple of drops of peppermint, a couple of drops of eucalyptus, and then I put a towel over it. Now I just, sometimes people just put the whole thing over. To me, that's really, really strong and really potent. I just kind of lifted it up and just kind of smelled, and what felt good for me, I would just slowly inhale that. Now, you don't want to do that for more than like 10, 15 minutes. That should be long enough. And do it like I did it in the morning and I did it in the evening, okay? So you just want to be careful. With any kind of inhalation stuff, you want to be careful of those people who have asthma. Now, there's no research that says that doing this kind of stuff will, make your asthma worse, but there have been some reports when people do, they do these steam inhalation, stuff like that, it sometimes induces an asthma attack. So you want to be very, very careful if you have asthma and you do anything like steam inhalation. If you also use a diffusers. Yeah, I had my diffuser. I can't even talk tonight. See, this is my diffuser. Oh my gosh, diffuser. It was on before it ran out, but it has like a little bit of a, this is a water diffuser, and it just kind of emits it throughout the air. It's very, very nice. This is mostly, this is really good for like helping you with your mood. Sometimes it can help with the odors in the air, and it can help just clean the air a little bit. You want to do them intermittently. You don't want to be doing them all day long. If you do it for like some of them, like this does a shoo, and then it stops, and then a shoo. It just does it that kind of way. If you are going to use it, maybe just use it for like an hour, then like have it off for a little bit, and then go back on. You don't want to be like 24/7. You want to be in a well-ventilated room. Especially if you have little pets and animals. This is going to be my conversation about pets and animals. I'm not a veterinarian. I don't know much about essential oils with animals, but what I do know is this. I do know that when it comes to cats, cats lack a liver enzyme that makes it a little bit more difficult for them to process essential oils. There are some vets out there that will use essential oils on cats. I would say I would not recommend it unless you are working with one of those vets. I would not be like, I'm going to take care of my cat on my own and start using essential oils with them, because it could end up being not a very good situation. You don't want to lose your kitty cat. Kitty cats are awesome. But if you are going to have a diffuser in the house and you do have cats, make sure that it's in a well-ventilated room. Make sure that the cat can get out. Like if you're going to be in your bed, if you have a small bedroom and you're doing it before you go to bed and you have it like, the cats are on the bed with you and stuff like that, leave the door open, let the air able to circulate. Don't keep them stuck in a room where you have that situation, because cats, I think, are pretty smart and they know when to leave and when to get out of bad situations. Dogs, not so much. I love dogs, but I definitely don't think that they might not be the smartest. Some of them are. I'm not saying that dogs are not smart, but I think cats are a little bit smarter. But dogs, one thing I can definitely say is tea tree is definitely a no. I have definitely read where tea tree can be toxic to a dog, so you do not want to have that in your home with your animals. I would definitely say that, okay? And again, I've commented about asthma. Just being careful if you do have asthma and you are using inhalation. And they also have the inhalers too, which I have one right here. I always have my inhalers all over the house. These are inhalers as well. It's got like a little bit of a top. It unscrews, and there's actually, you can see there's like a little holes right here. So there's a cotton swab that's inside here, and this comes off. You put some essential oils, you cap it on here. You keep it tight so that essential oil is still fresh in there. And then whenever you want to use it, you just put it up to your nose and you do each side. Now, this is good for, especially for mood. If you want to help with your mood and you want to feel like that energy of, I personally like Lang Lang and rose. I like the floral scents, where some people really like the citrus smells, the lemon, the lime, to get them energized and get them going. This is great for that. This is also good for some congestion. When I was having a little bit of cold and I was still working in the clinic, I would have one of these with some eucalyptus and some peppermint, and then it would help with my congestion as well when you're not able to be home with your steam bath and stuff like that. So the steam, diffuser, and inhaler are good for. The steam is definitely very good for chest, respiratory, and congestion. That's typically what we use it for. We typically use diffusers for mood, inhalation for mood, the little inhaler for mood as well, but sometimes those can be beneficial for respiratory as well. You want to make sure that with your diffuser, how much essential oil will you use? Look at the box. Look at the instructions of your diffuser, because they're different sizes and it just depends on what type of diffuser you have as well. You want to follow those instructions. And then no for cats. Definitely don't be using them for cats. For dogs, you can definitely, essential oils are more used with dogs, absolutely, but definitely do not use tea tree. And I would highly recommend, highly recommend, if you're going to use essential oils with your animals, that you do it with a veterinarian that is trained to do it. I'm not an animal aromatherapist. I'm not an expert, but that would be my suggestion to you. All right, everybody. That is essential oil basics. Hold on one second. That is the basics. I am sure that I can go on and on about a lot of other stuff when it comes to essential oil safety, but I wanted to give you a little bit of basics. And even if it's going to spark your mind that, oh my gosh, I want to use essential oils, but I want to use them properly and safely, because there's a lot of information out there. I don't think that everyone respects and honor essential oils as much as we should. They can interact with medications. They can interact with certain medical conditions. Some are not good for children. Some are not good with your breastfeeding, and some are not good when you are pregnant. So it's important that if you want to use essential oils, that you learn about them and you respect them. There's lots of information online. You want to make sure that you find reputable spots and look at reputable textbooks. I know that sometimes it's a little hard to find this information because there is just so much out there. But if you need help finding reputable websites, reputable information, please do not hesitate to comment below. Send me a message if you want to learn, or even if you wanted to do an essential oil consultation with me because you do want to use them but you're not quite sure how to do them, then book a consultation. I love talking about essential oils, but I also am very, very passionate about us using them safely and correctly, because I don't want you to have a reaction. I don't want anything happening to you. So that is it for tonight. Next week, we're going to be, remember, every other week we're trying to do holistic news. I'm not quite sure how well it's going. I'm going to probably take a poll soon to see if I should continue to keep doing it. But we are going to be talking about some holistic news. I'll find some stuff. I'm always reading all the time new information that I like bringing to you guys. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed this show tonight. This is, again, one of my pet peeves, essential oil safety. And I love it. So we got to make sure that we use them appropriately. I had a great time tonight. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and I will see you next week on Holistic News. And again, if you have any questions about essential oil safety, please make sure that you put them in the comments below. Even if you're watching the show afterwards, I will definitely get to you. Take care, have a great night, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.